Hello everyone, welcome to 2D Board Gamers. My name is Dave, and today I'm going to look at the top 5 anticipated cards for the upcoming Maria hero. That she comes in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's one of the 2 heroes, and we had an article with some of her cards, and this is my top 5 countdown of some of my favorite cards from that they showed. So first of all, let's go over what Maria Hill can do. So she is a 2/1/2 shield spy. Each ally you control gains the shield trait. So she's got kind of the Star-Lord thing going. And she has what's called reassignment. Move one all-purpose counter from a shield support to another shield support. And before we continue, we should look at her alter ego because she's got unique deck building. You may include the maximum number of copies of 3 shield supports in your deck from aspects other than your chosen aspect. Now, I'm assuming it means the maximum number. Some people are saying the may kind of confuses that. But so like if you want a attack team, you would have to include 3 copies. The reason I bring this up is because there's a couple of new shield supports that are added to her deck, so that are available from the article. So let's take a look at those. So one of them is the Iliad, which is a Maria Hill card. You remove a counter, deal 5 damage to an enemy, remove 4 threat from a scheme, or heal 3 damage from an identity. The Circe, exhaust it, remove a counter, choose a player. That player puts an ally into play from their hand. And the Pericles, which is a protection support, remove a counter, give a hero or a villain a status card of your choice, and give an ally or a minion a status of your choice. So there's 2 statuses that you give. All right, now let's take a look at the top 5 cards. Number 5 is Front Organization. It's a 0-cost basic support. Play under any player's control, max 1 per player. When a counter card effect would discard a card you control, discard Front Organization instead of discarding that card. Now this card is really good for protecting your expensive supports and upgrades from cards like this one, Caught Off Guard. Discard an upgrade or support you control. If no card was discarded this way, then this card gains Surge. You could do Front Organization instead of an Avenger Mansion or a Helicarrier or one of your hero important cards that you need for your kit. So this is a really good card. Number 4 is Organizational Support. It's a resource card, Leadership. Interrupt. When you spin this card, exhaust up to 3 allies and or supports you control that share a trait with your identity. Generated the printed resources on each card exhausted this way. And as you saw from the shield supports, they cost 6. You could, if you exhausted 3 allies or supports that are shield, that share the trait layer with Maria, then you get a 4-cost discount. Also, people like Star-Lord would like this because all his allies are Guardians. And then, of course, if you have Children of the Atom, that works with the X-Men and the X-Force heroes as well. So, yeah, this is a really good card for being able to pay for expensive cards like the shield supports or expensive allies. So that's number 4. Number 3 is Special Funding. It's a Maria resource card. It provides a mental and a strength. After you spin this card to pay for a shield support, place 1 all-purpose counter on that support after it enters play. Now, if you combine this with our previous one, Organizational Support, now, and you exhaust 3 allies or supports, so 3 shield that share a trait, that generates 4. Special Funding generates 2. You can purchase one of those 6-cost shield supports and get an all-purpose counter put on top of it. So that is pretty amazing. So Maria is going to be really good in leadership. Number 2 is On the Double. It's a 0-cost event. It's an action. Ready any number of shield supports with a combined printed cost of 6 or less. So this allows you to use one of those expensive shield supports that costs 6 a second time, or if you exhausted 3 cards for the organizational support to pay for a new support to come into play, you can ready them and still be able to use them. So that is a really good card. So, and number 1, the hard call. It's a 2-cost event, hero action, discard a shield support you control, deal X damage to each enemy where X is the printed cost of the discarded support. So again, we've got some 6-cost supports. So that would deal 6 damage to everybody, the villain and all minions. So that is really good for a 2-cost event. And you should have at least one 6-cost support, the Iliad. Even if you went with a bunch of cheaper supports on the deck building, you would still have the Iliad to do 6 damage to everybody on the board. So that is really good. Now let's look at some supports that we can add to her deck. So first one we have is Command Team. It's a 2-cost leadership support. You would have to have 3 copies. It uses 3 command counters, exhaust a command team, and remove 1 command counter from it to ready an ally. So this, I've used this with like Agent 13 lots of times, but or Yondu is good. But it's any ally, especially if you're Voltroning or you got a really good they got really good stats. So command team is a really useful card. Next is Field Agent. It's a 1-cost justice support, uses 3 backup counters. When a shield ally would take any amount of consequential damage, exhaust Field Agent and remove 1 backup counter from it. Prevent 1 of that damage. Again, this is like, I like this with like Agent 13. And Maria, you could actually do the command team Field Agent combo. I tried this once with Spider-Woman. It used a lot of cards of her deck because it forced me to be Justice leadership. But now with Maria here, I could just add 3 leadership cards or 3 justice cards, depending on which aspect I'm playing. And I've got this combo going really well. Next, we have Med Team. It's a 3-cost protection support. Uses 3 medical counters. Action, exhaust Med Team and remove 1 medical counter from it to heal 2 damage from a friendly character. So it's a good way to keep your allies alive and your fellow heroes and not having to go to alter ego, keeping your fellow heroes alive as well. So that's good. Next, we have R&D Facility. It's a 3-cost leadership support. It requires 2 mental to purchase it. So 2 of the 3 costs has to be mental. Uses 3 research counters. Hero action, exhaust R&D Facility and remove 1 research counter from it. Choose a friendly character in play. That character gets +1 thwart and +1 attack until the end of the phase. So again, it's really good for like Voltron allies or just being able to get that 1 extra oomph that you need, to 1 extra damage to take out a minion or a villain, or that 1 extra thwart to remove a side scheme or clear all the threat from the main scheme. So that's good. Next, we have Surveillance Team. 2-cost support, uses 3 snoop counters. Action, exhaust Surveillance Team and remove 1 snoop counter from it to remove 1 threat from a scheme. So this is nice for being able to control some extra threat that you want to be removed. But this also makes a great card for exhausting to purchase cards like with organizational support. So there's that as well. Next, we have Tac Team. It's a 3-cost aggression support. Uses 3 attack counters. Action, exhaust Tac Team and remove 1 attack counter from it to deal 2 damage to an enemy. So it's a nice, reliable way of knocking a tough off or doing a little bit of damage to finish off a minion. And since it's an action, you can even do it when it's not your turn. If one of your teammates needs a tough knocked off, this is a great way to do that. And then finally, the last support is the Triskelion. It's a 1-cost leadership support, and it allows you to increase your ally limit by 1. So in most cases, that means you would have 4 allies. So that's my look at the top 5 most anticipated cards for Maria, and also kind of showing a list of all the different off-aspect supports that you can add to her deck, and a preview of some of the new S.H.I.E.L.D helicarriers that they had in the preview article. So I'm really looking forward to Maria Hill and wanting to play her. And I'm sure I'm going to have to fight Dirk a lot to play her because Maria Hill is Dirk's favorite ally. But we'll see what he thinks of the hero, I guess. All right. Well, anyways, thank you for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe.